Yeah. What up, 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 what up? What up, what up, what up, what up? How we doing? What's up, folks? What up, what up? Shout out to all the recent subs. Mr. Rice Emberg, Sapoma Beats, Vincenzo Costa, Nelson, Kareem Hall, Melzy Gagnard, Fresh Football 059, Patricia Lynn, McCav, DK Repucci, Guga, Albie Faye, Anthony Rogers, Sid Citrus, Rolando Robledo, Marios 1960, Motaz 1975. Hey, what's up? How we doing, man? We got to talk Ben Simmons, right? We got to talk about this Ben Simmons stuff, right? We got to talk about the Nets and the Celtics, right? We got to talk about the Sixers and the Raptors, right? We got to talk about my boy Luka, right? I tried to tell y'all about the Mavs. I did. I tried to tell y'all about the Mavs. But y'all thought I was bugging. There was no faith. And it should be 3-1. That series should be 3-1. But Powell decided to miss free throws. I feel like we got to talk about Ben Simmons, though, man. Logan, what do you think about Ben Simmons, man? How you guys feel about all this Ben Simmons stuff? Him not playing again tonight? A lot of talks that Ben Simmons is a fraud. I got to say, this is unrelated to the players, but Jokic has the third highest PR. Let's talk about Jokic. I would love to talk about Jokic. I got a question for you, Logan. I got a question for you. If Jokic is the most valuable player in the NBA, why is he a guy that his own coaching staff did not want him on the floor for the most important possession of their season? How did Ben get cleared by the Nets medical staff? That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, first of all, how you get hurt when you ain't played all year? That was number one. Number two, like you said, if you were hurt coming in, why would, like, what? That don't make no sense, man. Listen, I'm one of the biggest Ben Simmons fans out there. I was a big believer in Ben Simmons. Even when we traded Ben Simmons, I felt like, man, should we have, or should we just try to fix the relationship? But I must say, Ben Simmons is not the guy I thought he was. Ben Simmons is not the guy we thought he was coming into it. Which possession? The last defensive one? Yeah. Listen, 120, what was it? 123, 121. I believe. Morris just hit the floater to put him up 2. This is the most important possession of your season, arguably. And you get taken off the floor. And I know, listen, don't give me the... I'm a basketball coach. Like, I get the whole... It's a bad matchup. They're picking on him defensively. But that's my point. I'm sorry, man. I don't know how you can be the two-time... I mean, he would be the first ever two-time MVP to be taken off the floor in the last possession of a 2-point game. The last defensive possession. I mean... And all I've been hearing is how his defensive metrics are off the charts. You know what I mean? It's just weird to me. It's weird to me. Like, I feel like Jokic fans just want it both ways. How can we talk about how he's such a great defender, look at the metrics, but then he's being taken off the floor? I think it's because he's slow compared to other players, and he's not a great defensive player, but he's still the reigning MVP. You can't. But that's what I'm like. I don't know, man. Maybe call me old-fashioned. Like, hold on, listen. Forget how you feel about Embiid, because I don't want people to say, I'm a homer. What about any other MVP candidate? Are you taking Giannis out in a 2-point game? No. Are you taking Joel Embiid out in a 2-point game? No. Are you taking Luka out in a 2-point game? No. Who else was in the running? Are you taking Devin Booker out in a 2-point game? No. Are you taking Jason Tatum out in a 2-point game? No. I just don't listen, man. I don't know that you can be the most valuable player in the NBA, but your own coaching staff decides we're better in this moment. Listen, in a 2-point game, defensive possession, we need one stop. Our season's on the line. We're better with you on the bench. How is that the league MVP? Am I bugging? And then everybody wants to tweet out and post out him calling out the play. Yo, what up, Ricky? Yo, Ricky, who you think the MVP of the league is? Talk to me, Ricky. Talk some sense into these people, because there's no way you could think it's Jokic too. Ain't no way you could think it's Jokic too, right? And then everybody posting on Instagram and Twitter when he's like, oh, lob, the lob is coming. Like, okay, so you even know what the play is, and they still don't want you on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Just hopping in here, I don't know where we at, but what does MVP really mean anymore? It feels like nothing but a stat race since Westbrook's triple-double season. I mean, I thought the MVP was a guy, like, I always felt like there should be an MVP award and a Player of the Year award, two separate things. That way you can give it to the guy who actually is the most valuable, and you can give it to the best player that year. Because usually the MVP goes to, like, the criteria forever has seemed to be, you got to be the best player. You got to be having a great year, yes, but you also have to be like the best player on a title contender. That was kind of like, if your team don't got a chance at winning the title, no matter how great of a year you're having, you're probably not winning MVP. And then Westbrook was like the lone exception because he had a triple-double, which hadn't been done since, I think, the 61 season or 62 season, right? But Jokic got it last year, and okay, I think Jokic won it last year because Embiid missed a ton of games. I think if Embiid didn't miss as many games, Embiid might have won it last year, but I get it. Joker probably deserved it last year, and that team was a potential title contender last year. I get it. But this year, that team is a 6 seed, right? The team's a 6 seed, no real shot of winning that title. They almost got swept in the first round. I know it's a regular season award, but still. And then they took him out the game, bro. Down 2. Yo, you might get swept on your home floor, and the coaching staff said, yo, chill, bro. We better with you over here next to us. I just don't know how that's the MVP. It's Embiid, family, and I hate him. That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, I don't hate him, but yo, Embiid is the most valuable player in the league. I mean, hell, I even be okay with Giannis getting it, but I just don't see how Joker's about to get it again. It feels like highway robbery. That's how it feels to me, man. It feels like robbery. That this guy is about to become one of the very few 2-time MVPs back-to-back. Assuming he wins it, which it seems to be a foregone conclusion at this point. I mean, how many back-to-back winners do you have in the history of the NBA? 10? Maybe? You got Nash. Bron. Bron did it twice. I can't even think of any more. I'd have to think Kareem got back-to-back at one point in his run. I would have to think Jordan got back-to-back. I think they should have an offensive player of the year, mostly because the MVP would win that. I'm not a big fan of Embiid, but he's averaging 30 and 12. And Jokic is putting up stupid numbers too, like 27, 14, and 8. Like, and that's why I feel like this is what I don't like about sports. This is what I don't like about sports. I feel like, or sports debate. I feel like for whatever reason, it has become, if you say one guy's like not the best, it's an insult. It's like by saying someone's not the best, you're saying they're trash, right? So it's like, I feel like a lot of people in my comments on these videos, if I say like Embiid or if I say Jokic is not the MVP, they take it as like, yo, you're disrespecting him. And it's like, what? Hell, if we're voting, there's a first, second, and third place, right? Or for like, he could be in the top. He's probably second place, third place. I would probably say he's third, second or third. I think Embiid's the MVP. I would put Giannis after him and then Joker third. But like, people think that that's like disrespectful. And I'm like, why is that disrespectful? Why is it disrespectful to say a guy, you know what I'm saying? This is like when Macklemore's album won Album of the Year. And yo, we got to clap it up for that one, because that's exactly what this is. Like, yo, Macklemore's album is cool. Macklemore's album was good, but it wasn't Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Good Kid, Mad City, and that's Jokic and Embiid this year. Like, yo, Jokic's year was great. You know, people are like, you know, he's the first with the 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 500 assists. That's incredible, spectacular. He had a spectacular year. But the team has no real shot at winning a title. We knew that going into the playoffs, right? And that's just, I mean, again, historically, that's just who the award has gone to. I don't know why. I don't know why all of a sudden it's like people are like shocked when it goes that way. I don't know. But I think that's a great analogy. Macklemore winning Album of the Year over Kendrick. Is exactly what it's like. This Ben Simmons stuff, man. This Ben Simmons stuff is crazy. This Ben Simmons stuff. If we could segue into that. No smooth segue into this. I mean, my guy, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons and CEO of Clutch Sports, Rich Paul, met with Sean Marks and Nets leadership today to discuss how they'll continue to work through the physical and mental hurdles needed to get Simmons back on the court. Let's see what this one says. Simmons reiterated his desire to play for the Nets, and sides talked on how they'll work together to try and get there. Both groups believe Simmons had 2 good weeks of physical ramp-up through Sunday, but ultimately realized there are still mental and physical hurdles that need addressing. The Nets believe Simmons has been addressing both mental and physical areas in recent months and recognize there's more work to do. Okay, now here's my issue with this, right? Here's my issue with this. 48 hours ago, he was supposed to be good to go. Or 3 days ago. Whatever it was, he was supposed to be good to go. And then the first reports came out that he wasn't ready because he was still having back soreness. And now they talking about these mental hurdles again. Yo, if there's anybody who can appreciate mental hurdles, I'm there. I'm there with you, you know? Like right before COVID, I had like an asthma attack, which I haven't had any. I might have had COVID and didn't even know. But like I had like an asthma / anxiety, panic attack, like the whole 9, couldn't breathe. Like I called 911 thinking I was going to die, bro. And dealt with for up until very recently. Even now, I still get kind of like anxious about it. Like, oh, am I breathing all right? So I get the mental hurdles. Like that stuff is not difficult to, or not easy to get over if he's really dealing with that stuff. But it's hard. It's getting hard. And it's like, you know, I don't even like to speculate and be like, that's not what's going on. But it's hard. It's hard when you hear how you good to go, you're going to play. And then when the first reports come out, you're not playing. Then nobody mentions anything about your mental. It's you had back soreness. And then it's like, as we get closer to tip off, now the mental stuff is coming back up again. And I really hope for the sake of everybody who deals with mental stuff, I'd hope Ben Simmons is not lying. Because how shameful would that be, right? To use that as an excuse, because nobody can really call you out on it. So to use that as an excuse if that's not what's happening would be awful. But it's like, come on, man. Come on, man. And if it's like, I think was in my personal experience, the more you try to run away from something, the worse it's gonna be. It's gonna be worse. He'd be better off just playing. Thank God you're good, bro. Hey, you already know, fam. Listen, man, you know, it had like that's why when it was first coming out, like I was like sympathetic towards it, because I'm like, yo, that's actually like, yo, if he really going through that stuff, that ain't nothing to slouch at. That's real. But it's just like, I don't know, man. It's mad weird. And then it's like, yo, how much mental, it's like, I don't know. It's like I said, I feel weird even speculating, because it's like, I don't want to be insensitive. I don't want to say a guy's making stuff up or a guy's faking stuff, because you don't know what somebody else is going through. But it's also hard when you wearing stuff like this to be like, you know, you can't handle the pressure and the eyes on you and all this stuff. All your mental is messed up, but yet all you do is want people to look at you. Like, that don't look like somebody that's trying to fly under the radar. That doesn't look like somebody who isn't ready for the moment. At best, you lack awareness. At best, you lack awareness. At worst, you're an ass. Like, at best, you just lack some awareness. You don't get it. You're still young, I guess. What's he, 22, 23? Which I know we're going to act like he's young, but for those of us who are now getting up in their 30s, we know, like, yo, that's still young. I ain't know nothing when I was that age. I don't know nothing now. But it's like, that doesn't look like the person that's trying to slide under the radar. Game 5 tonight, if we keep turnovers low and get out and run again, I think we close this out. What do you think, bro? I think the Sixers are going to win tonight. I think the Sixers are going to win tonight. You're at home, full squad. We played terrible. Ben is 26? No way, bro. Is he that old already? I take it all back. Is he really that old? No way. No chance. He got drafted in 2016 draft. Oh, man, maybe then. He was probably 18, 19, 5. Nah, 23, 24. Ain't no way he 26. I'd be shocked. And even if he is 26, like, yo, that's still kind of young. Like, I'm 29 turning 30. And I just think back a couple years ago, like, I wasn't no baby, but you do, like, you know, it's not everybody matures the same pace, especially when you used to being a man and you got everything, like, everything goes your way and stuff like that. Like, he could still be a little immature. I'm sure he is. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying that it's possible. Ben Simmons is an amazing player. I hope he can get better. I think Ben Simmons, in my mind, has potential to be one of the best 5 guys in the NBA. Obviously, he's got to figure out the jump shot, but the best ability is availability, and he ain't that right now. So, don't matter how talented he is, doesn't matter how skilled he is, he doesn't show up to work. You know? They should have never released a Game 4 expectation. They set him up for failure. It's him. It's also like AB. He isn't doing himself any favors, and no one around him is either. Yeah, the Game 4 stuff, maybe they shouldn't have said that. They shouldn't have put that out there. But I think he put that out there. I think him and his camp put that out there. And he also, like, you know, get this on video and then dunking the ball as if that's hard. Bro, I'm 29 years old with 2 or 3 tears in my hip labrum that I've needed surgery on since before COVID still hasn't gone. I could dunk the basketball off one dribble. So for him to be in, like, and I'm only 6'2". So I'm 6'2", maybe 6'3", with a hip that needs surgery and out of shape. And, you know, 7th man on a good rec basketball team. Hit me up, Bricky, if you need a 7th man on your on your men's league teams. And I could do what he did. So I don't even know why he thought that was, like, cool. But I feel like Brooklyn's going to lose. Been seeing Kyrie and KD fight on the court, very concerned. This is what I don't get. About the Nets. I wonder what that team is supposed to look like. What I mean by that is you bring in Steve Nash. You bring in James Harden, right? You bring in all these guys. You bring in these three guys to play together. And then Steve Nash has never coached before. But I got to think Steve Nash is a great basketball mind. He's a point guard. Another guy who won 2 MVPs I shouldn't have. Very Jokic-like. Part of the D'Antoni 7 seconds or less offense, right? He knows his stuff. And I suspect what they wanted. I suspect that what they want this thing to look like and what it actually looks like right now are two completely different things. You know what I mean? I would guarantee, like, I feel like Nash probably had any coach with Kerr and the Warriors. Nash probably had this whole offensive philosophy, this whole scheme, this thick playbook. They probably had all these things they wanted to do. And then you're dealing with injuries left and right. Injury. And they still piece it together last year. Right? They still piece it together last year. And if Kevin Durant wore a shoe size or a half a shoe size smaller, that shot he hit would have been a 3 and they beat the Bucks. And I feel like as much like a lot of people have been talking about Steve Nash getting fired, and I think Steve Nash might be in a little over his head, but we can't ignore the fact that they had a boatload of injuries last year. Like their quote unquote big three just didn't get to play a lot together last year, and they still almost made a run to the finals. They still almost beat the Bucks. Came as close as any team did to beating the Bucks, right? And then you come into this year, and then you have Kyrie taking his stance on the vaccination and not getting vaccinated. And then you get KD in and out of the lineup, and then you have James Harden in and out of the lineup. Like, it would be hard for any because when you're drawing stuff up, when he's designing what he wants to do offensively, defensively, you gotta he's only ever planning it with his whole team. Like, when he's drawing up actions and counters and stuff, he's not drawing stuff up like, okay, if James Harden is out, this is what we're gonna do. If Kyrie's not gonna play, this is what we're doing. Like, no, all his stuff is when they're at their best. And he didn't really get that very often. He didn't get an opportunity to really do that very much. And they just been piecing it together. And then, on top of all that, you then trade James Harden and you bring in 2 new guys that are playing a huge role. And the third guy that you hope to play a big role is not there at all. Like, that's tough, man. That's tough. He's got to hold himself accountable. There's nothing like the Nets, his agency, etc. can do. It's all on him where he wants to go with this NBA thing from now on. You talking about Ben? Yeah, Ben's got to decide if he wants to really do this. And I think he does, man. I think he does. I think he's just going through it right now. But he got to just chill and stop being the center of attention. Like, really sit back and chill for a while. And he was doing that, right? Like, he was doing that. Like, to his credit, after the whole showing up to practice with the phone in his pocket, once he was away from the Sixers, he was away from the Sixers. He wasn't tweeting stuff. He wasn't in the press. You assumed he just had his head down and was just working, getting better. And when the time came, he'd be ready to go. That's what's so confusing about the back issue. But I don't know, man. I feel like they need to get swept to build for next season. Ew, that's funny to me. I don't know why, but that's mad funny to me. Here's my thing with that. Nash revolutionized the game of basketball with 7 seconds or less. In Jokic's case, he may have individual brilliance, but what's the team done? Exactly. But don't make too much sense, superhero. They're going to get mad at you. Think Nash could possibly be the next Ty Lue. Dealt a bad hand, then goes elsewhere and shows his stuff. Well, if you ask me, Ty Lue was actually dealt the best of hands. He had a LeBron at the height of his powers, got a healthy Kyrie Irving, and a healthy Kevin Love. A team that the year before, had the Cavs been healthy the year before, they might have won back-to-back championships. Think of how much that changes NBA history, huh? If they win that first finals, David Blatt's not getting fired, is he? Not after winning a championship. But yeah, I think Steve Nash is probably capable of doing a very good job. I believe that. I think the most difficult part of Nash's job isn't even the personalities and stuff like that. It's just the fact that he's like, yo, when have I got a chance to actually coach a full roster? Like, can we Nets record with Kyrie, Harden, and Durant? Let's take a look at that. Like, yo, according to this on Google, maybe not the most accurate source, but they played 16 games together. 8-2 in the regular season, 5-1 in the playoffs. So they were 13-3 when all three guys played. And that's according to USA Today. And I'm sorry, that team last year, if they remained healthy, probably beats the Suns as well. 13-3 when they played together. You know? Man, my allergies have been bugging me today. I was in Jamaica all last week, and now I'm coming back. And man, the Nets are a big three and a D wing and a better center away from title. Oh, man. Yo, what do you do with Kyrie, man? Like, if you're a Nets fan, like, do we have any Nets fans in the chat? I feel like I haven't shown mad love to the Nets on this channel, so I don't know that we have many of those. But, like, if you're a Nets fan, by the way, don't forget to like the stream. I see we got, like, 11 or 12 people in here. We've been sitting at, like, 11 or 12 for a while now. Only 4 likes, man. Don't forget to like the video. Like, would you even offer Kyrie the max? Because I don't know that I would. Unpopular, but Kyrie shouldn't get the max. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. That's really tough. And it kind of goes back to as good. Yo, Kyrie is a generational talent. Like, Kyrie Irving is special. But it seems like recent history tells you he's going to have something, whatever that thing is, and he's going to just be MIA for a while. Yo, remember with the Celtics where he, like, literally disappeared? Or was that with the Nets? No, that was with the Nets. That was just last year with the Nets where he, like, disappeared and nobody knew where he was. Like, come on, fam. How do we just not know where you are? So this year it was the vaccination, to each his own. Last year you just disappeared for a little bit and people were worried about you. In Cleveland, he was kind of just hurt a lot. In Boston, I think he got hurt as well. That year they went on that run without him, right? That's how Terry Rozier got paid. So, I don't know, man. I don't know that I would give him the max contract. By the way, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let's do some shout-outs, man. Let's do some shout-outs to people who have subscribed recently. We got Mr. Rice Enberg, Sapalma Beats, Vincenzo Costa, Nelson, Kareem Hall, Fresh Football 059, Patricia Lynn, DK Rapucci. We got Zakai Lynn, John Blaze, Joe Crunch 82, Isa Wilder, Gustavo Moez. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mike Connors, not to be confused with Mike Lowry. Jerry Chen, William Yan, Jake Cantos. Appreciate everybody for subbing, man. Man, y'all love when I do Celtics videos. Y'all love when I do Celtics videos. I wish my Sixers videos did that well, man. Where my Sixers fans at in the chat, bro? Don't forget, yo, man. We gotta get these Sixers videos to pop off. But nah, I just like hoops. I love basketball. I was watching the Suns Pelicans last night. Oh man, can we talk about the Suns for a minute? Hold on now. Can we talk about the Suns for a minute? Because I made a video about how I thought the Mavs were going to win the West. And man, those Suns fans were mad at me. Woo-wee. Some of the comments I got in there, I'm disrespecting Devin Booker. I'm disrespecting the Suns. They're the best team. They're so good in the clutch. And they're good. They're very good. I even said they probably should be the favorite just because I'm saying the Mavs are going to win doesn't mean the Suns aren't the favorite. But boy, the Pelicans got them on the ropes. And everybody talks about depth. Listen, I'm cutting the music for this one. Let's cut the music, okay? If there's one thing I want to get across in today's live stream, depth is the most overrated concept in NBA history. Don't listen to it. And probably in basketball in general, don't believe in depth. You don't need to have a deep team to win. Kyle, what up? B.I. Brandon, hey, you already know what time it is, man. Duke, baby. B.I. tough. Hey, Kyle, we've been saying that for a minute. We've been saying B.I. tough for a minute. But listen, guys, depth, I might even record this. I might just record this and put it out there as his own video. If there's anything to learn in today's live stream, it is that depth is the most overrated concept in basketball, especially in the NBA. The teams that are deep do great in the regular season. The deepest teams usually have a great regular season. We see it all the time, like the Suns. But once you get to the playoffs, rotations shorten, minutes go up, and you have rest every other day. You don't need to play 10 guys because you're off the next day. I went back and I have an old YouTube video on this channel. I went back and I looked at every single champion from the past decade. And the magic number was 8. It was like 8 guys. I think there were only 2 champions in the past decade that played 10 guys for more than like 20 minutes a game or 15 minutes a game, whatever it was I looked at. It might have even been like, I might have just looked at double digits. I think I just might have looked at double digits minutes, right? Like, you don't need 9, 10, 11 guys. That's cute and all in the regular season, because in the regular season, when you're playing 82 games, guys are going to want to take nights off. Guys are going to be tired. You got 3 games in 4 nights, or you got back-to-backs. You got 4 games in 5 nights. Like, you deal with all this stuff, right? You get injuries and things like that. But you don't need to have 9 or 10 guys to win a championship. If you have 8 really good play, if your rotation is 8 and you got a good 8, you're good. That's all you need. You definitely need 8. Everything after that is a luxury. You can't play with 6 or 7. Like, that's going to catch up to you. But if you got 8, you're good. You are good. And that's what I was trying to tell Sixers fans when everybody was bugging out about our bench. We don't need to have 10 guys. You don't need to score a ton off the bench either. That's another thing. Everybody talks about bench scoring. Bench scoring is a luxury. It's not a requirement to win a championship. It is a luxury. It is not a requirement to win a championship. If you have great bench scoring, that's great. But if you score 115 or 120 points, the scoreboard don't care who gets it. The scoreboard don't care. If your bench only scores 19 points, but you finish with 122, it doesn't matter where it came from. Having a deep bench and having a ton of bench scoring are not requirements to win a championship. They're a luxury. They're nice to have, but we see it all the time. We see it all the time when a team that only plays 7 or 8 beats the team that was deeper. It happens all the time. So, again, if there's one thing you take away from this stream today, if there's one thing you guys take away, stop listening to all these people on ESPN who are like, oh, the depth. They got so much depth. They got so much depth. It don't matter. It does not matter. Because in crunch time, you're only going to see those same 5 or 6 guys anyway come the fourth quarter. You need 8. 8 is the magic number. If you got 8, you're good. Again, anything after that is just a luxury. Let's get that music back on. That's my rant for the day. My headphones is bugging out. But I'm telling you, man, everybody goes crazy over depth, and you don't need it. Hold on, though. Injuries are a part of the playoffs. It's kind of nice when your backups can still ball. Yeah, that's true, but if you have a serious injury to a starter, you ain't winning the championship anyway. Not many teams can survive that. Maybe a game or two, but like, yo, if Booker is like everybody was saying the Suns had the deepest team in the league. Not by coincidence, they had the most wins in the league too. But as deep as that team is, if Booker does not come back for the playoffs, that team is not winning a championship. They're just not. And then you have a team like the Mavs who are not very deep, right? You have a team like the Mavs who are not very deep and lost their star player and were able to keep it afloat. Why? Because the 7 or 8 they play is a good 7 or 8. It didn't matter that they couldn't go to their 9th guy. It didn't matter they couldn't really go to their 10th guy. As long as their 6 was or 6, 7, 8 were solid, they were able to survive. And now Luka's back, and they should have won game 4. And then you'll see what happens. And I'm not saying that to try to prove that the Mavs can go to the finals. That's just a case study right there. What up, Celtics fan here? Sub from the playoff breakdowns. Love the analysis and ball knowledge. Oh, I appreciate. Pause. Yo, Brock, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for supporting the channel. Can we clap it up for Brock, man? Subbing to the channel. I appreciate you. Are the Suns coming out the first round without Book? That's what I'm saying. I don't think so. Yo, I think the Suns could definitely lose if Booker doesn't come back, because now all of a sudden, yeah, Brock, yo, that was crazy. Now because all of a sudden, who has the best player on the floor? The Pelicans. Brandon Ingram, who, yo, my brother, shout out to my brother John, man. I love my brother John dearly, but my brother John is the biggest hater on earth. My brother John is the biggest hater on earth, and he was dogging BI for years. I'm like, yo, BI is nice, man. He's nice. So now, Kyle, you got the best player on the floor, and probably the third best player on the floor, and CJ McCollum, depending on how you feel about Chris Paul and Ayton. But I mean, CJ and BI, that's a good tandem right there. They're going to win games. As long as they can defend enough, then you're good. This is an attack on the 9th and 10th man out there. Yo, trust me, man. Listen, I'm washed now. So when I play basketball, like I'm playing in the men's league this summer, and I'm horrified. I'm about to be looking crazy out there. I am the 9th guy now. This is coming from somebody who used to be able to, I could be your solid 4th guy. You know what I mean? 6'2", 6'3", great defensively, but my jumper is very hit or miss. You know what I mean? I got that hitch in my jump shot, but I could get to the cutback in the day. Now I got to get this hip surgery. I lost a step. Now I just got to, I'm the I'm gonna come in, be physical, defend a little bit. I am the 9th guy, so I say it with the deepest sincerity. They just not needed for a championship. Like this men's league I'm playing in, if we win a championship, it ain't gonna be because of me. 0 layup package, but I still dunking on your head. Oh, Kyle came in here and chose hate. All right, bro. Any thoughts about the comments about officiating from Joel Embiid, Taylor Jenkins, and Monty Williams? Yeah, stop crying. Listen, I love Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid need to stop crying. Like, you're 7'2", 280, and the one of the biggest, strongest, athletic guys. Like, I don't need to hear Joel Embiid complaining about fouls. Doc Rivers, I don't need to hear you complaining about fouls. Like this, once again, I hope shows you guys that I'm very unbiased, or I try to be as unbiased as possible. But like, I don't want to hear my man's crying about fouls, bro. That's my one knock on Joel Embiid. It ain't even really a knock, but sometimes he just can't. He always like talk about a guy who might be a little immature. Like, I don't know. He's grown up a lot. He was definitely immature a couple years ago, but I think having a kid kind of changed him a little bit. But sometimes he just can't help himself but to be in the drama. That's a good word for him. Joel Embiid is a bit of a drama queen. He feeds off of that. Like, he loves being that guy. But sometimes it's like, come on, man, stop crying. You know what I don't like? I don't like when people be like, oh, like he said something like, oh, if we gonna be that physical, then like, cool, I'm gonna be that physical next game. Like, I don't, it's kind of like when people be like, try to, like, they talk about how they gonna fight somebody. Like, nobody that really is gonna do something, nobody that really wants to do something is gonna like announce that they're gonna do it. Like, to me, that's kind of like a, let me try to intimidate them. Let me try to get the refs to call more. So I'm gonna talk about how physical I'm gonna be and put everybody on notice. You know what I mean? It's like the class clown, like the kid. It's like the kid that's gonna throw a paper airplane across the classroom doesn't usually say, hey, I'm gonna throw a paper airplane across the classroom next period, because then everybody's looking for it. It's like, no, I'm just gonna do it. So if he wants to be more physical and things like, just do it. Why are you announcing it? You feel me? Chat, don't forget to hit that like button, man. Let's get these likes up. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. If Toronto wins this game, would you be worried since Game 6 is back in Toronto? Yes. I'm not saying that we cannot win Game 6 in Toronto, but I do think if we lose tonight, that it's going 7. That's just how I feel. I do think if we lose tonight, it's going 7. And which is funny because I picked the Sixers to win in 6. So I definitely think they're capable of winning. But it would just be, I thought we would lose game 3 and win game 4. I think it's a little different. I think there is a little difference when you lose 2 in a row. And then you got to go on the road. That's tough. That's tough for anybody, I think. So, I would be a little concerned. Definitely capable of winning, but I'd be a little concerned about that game. He really has no filter. Yeah, he don't. Except sometimes, that's the thing about Joel Embiid, though, right? Like, I almost think that's part of the illusion. Sometimes I think he does have a filter. Sometimes I think it's, like, premeditated. I didn't watch the Sixers, how Embiid's hand looking. Here's the thing with Embiid. Like, I noticed definitely for sure. And his thumb, he's had his thumb wrapped for a while now. I'm sure it's been bothering him for a while now. It just got worse, which probably made him want to get the MRI and stuff like that. But he was throwing the ball all over the place in game 4. Like, a lot of people will I think people will pay a lot of attention to, like, is he getting his hand smacked on layups and how's he shooting? How's he finishing? To me, that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at how's he passing the ball? How's he taking care of the ball? I think a big reason why they won game 3 and a big reason why they've had a lot of success this series has been his ability to handle the double team and calmly pass out of it and not turn the ball over a lot. In game 4, I think the biggest difference was Joel Embiid was throwing the ball all over the goddamn gym. And that, I think, has a little to do with the hand because it's a small detail, but Joel Embiid loves to pass the ball with one hand. It's not very often you see Embiid catch it and throw two-hand skip passes. He's usually catching it and whipping it across the court with one hand. Now, when you got hands as big as he does, you can get away with that. But when your thumb is bothering you, now you don't really have as much control on the ball. The passes are a little higher. Now guys have to jump up for it, and maybe they can't shoot and catch. Or catch and shoot, rather. Or now you're passing a little off to one side or the other. Now they can't really catch and shoot in rhythm. Or it's just a flat-out turnover. But it's those little details make a difference, right? Like, when you have to buy, like, a lot of times what they'll do is Joel Embiid will catch it on in the mid-post or the low post, and he's looking opposite, right? Because the double is coming from the opposite side of the floor. You usually have that corner guy wide open unless the wing defender drops down. Should I draw this up? I got a board right next to me. Maybe I'll just draw up what I'm talking about. Coach's corner. Let's draw it up. Y'all see it? So what'll happen a lot is, we're not going to draw a ton of X's, but what'll happen a lot is Joel Embiid is catching the ball in this area here. He's got his defender. And a lot of times you'll have Toby over in the corner. Toby's defender is dropping in and help, right? And then he's flying over for this double. They're doubling him a lot from the middle so that you're forcing him to turn to the baseline. Baseline becomes an extra defender, right? He likes to throw this cross-court pass over the top to Toby. But if you throw the ball too high and now he has to jump to catch it, well, in the NBA, that jump, the time it takes you to come down and land, it doesn't seem like a long time, but that's all the difference in the world. And usually you have another player here on the wing, another offensive player, and it's this defender that has to drop down to take away that pass. Well, if you don't make an accurate pass, you're allowing that help to get there, and now he's throwing the one more, but at that point, this guy has now X'd out, and you don't have an open shot, right? And that's kind of what happened a lot in Game 3. A lot of the time in Game 3, his passes were either turnovers or just inaccurate, and what was open shots the first couple games were now turnovers or contested shots or not shots at all in Game 4. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as the hand goes. And B will be fine. Kyle Lowry had the same injury in the 2019 post. Yeah, I think he is. I mean, listen, he can play through it. I wouldn't say he's fine, but he could play through it. It could have gone either way. This could be a 2-2 series right now. It could be a 2-2 series right now. It could also be 4-0. I agree with you 100% though. Game 3, we probably should have lost. But, you know, sports are weird, man. Like, sports are so weird. Like, in a vacuum, it's easy to be like, yo, it's 3-1, and the Raptors could have won Game 3, so it could be 2-2. That's very possible. It's also possible if they win Game 3, they don't play Game 4 with the same level of urgency, which is only human. I know it's the playoffs, and you would think that everybody's playing hard all the time, but, like, they're human. There's a difference when you're playing at home, and it's 2-1, and you feel like we've protected home court. You come in feeling good. You're feeling confident. Like, let's go take care of business. Get this to 2-2 going to Philly. There's a different level of urgency in the way you play in that situation versus it's 3-0. We don't want to lose on our home floor. We don't want to get swept as it is, but we definitely don't want to get swept on our gym. Hell to the no. Different level of urgency, right? So, you know, it could go either way. It really could have gone either way. All NBA, I think some of it's Embiid's hand. The others that Toronto got FVV off the floor, who's hobbled and run 5 long dudes who are sound defensively instead of FVV, who is injured and undersized. All NBA teams are confirmed from the non-official tally. Some folks did mainly input voters. Yeah, I think it's a done deal, man. I think Embiid lost the MVP. I know what you're talking about. I'm not discrediting Philly. They are playing phenomenal, but some of the shooting variants from Green and Maxi's coming down there. Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought we got away with one in Game 1. Truthfully, as that game was closer than the score says. Like, Gary Trent Jr. could not hit a shot at all. Like, he couldn't hit water from a boat. And they were still in that game for a large portion of it. So, yeah, I think you could say Brooklyn could have 2 wins right now, but I think it comes down to the Celtics defense versus the Nets defense there. C's can close the... Yo, I wish... If I knew exactly where it was in my video when I did, like, playoff predictions, I said I thought the Celtics would win in 6. But I think I even said, I'm like, I expect those games, or maybe it was during the live. I think I might have said it during the live stream. I said, like, I feel like the games will be closer than the series looks. Like, it's 3-0 Boston, but literally every one of those games the Nets could have won. With the exception of maybe Game 3. Game 3, the Nets were kind of, like, thoroughly outplayed, I felt. But, I mean, if KD doesn't fall asleep in game 1, you know what I mean? And then Game 2, I believe they had the lead and gave it up, if I remember correctly. So it's like the Nets have been, like, right there, man. The Nets have been right there. I think a lot of Celtics fans, I would feel great up 3-0 as well. I mean, I just did as a Sixers fan when we was up 3-0. And I think that series will probably be over. But that series is pretty close. And the Nets are like, yo, if there's ever a team that you think could just find a way to come back from 3-0, it's that team, right? Because KD on any as great a defense as they've been playing, on any given night, KD could just like, yo, here's a 50 piece. Bink, bink. And then Kyrie in Game 5 could be like, yo, here's a 50 piece. Bink, bink. And then you're back in Brooklyn Game 6 with all the pressure on the Celtics because it's like, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, that. This tonight is a big night. Tonight's a big night. If the Nets can just find something, I don't think it'll be enough for the Nets to win. I think if the Nets win and they find something that is like, okay, we can go to this. We can go to that. You know? We'll see. Now, I expect Brooklyn to win tonight, not because I think they're going to win the series, but I just think it's super hard to sweep teams, man. Like, the Bucks are significantly better than the Bulls. I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that the Bucks are winning that series, and they couldn't sweep them. Losing game 2 made no sense. Exactly. They were up 15. So this could easily be 2-1 the other way, but I think they're going to lose the series. I'm not trying to hype up no Nets fans or anger any Celtics fans. I'm with you guys. I'm your ally. I believe that series over. I am just saying, like, of all the teams that were down 3-0, the Nuggets are done. The Raptors are done. The Nets are like 98.5% done. But still done. That's only one side of the ball. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Both KD and Kyrie have missed shots they normally make. If they aren't dead as a team morale-wise, it could make it interesting. Brother, the Nets are done. You know Kyle serious when he say, brother, the Nets are done. How are the Celtics guarding Giannis? I don't got no answer for that one. I don't know. I have no idea how you guard Giannis. I guess, I mean, you could try to be physical with him like they're being physical with KD, but he's a physical specimen. Keep it up. I like your videos. Hey, Donald, I appreciate it, man. Let's clap it up for Donald. I appreciate you, man. KD is being bodied by Tatum. He can't get any positioning, and Boston is shading the hell out of him with multiple guys. Their team defense is nuts. Yeah, they locking up, man. Robert Williams rim protecting is the only shot that's slowing Giannis down. Yeah, and listen, you got Robert Williams at the rim, assuming he's healthy. I know he looked good physically the other night. Like, he's got to keep looking healthy. You got bodies you can throw at him at least. Like, you can put Tatum on him for a few possessions. You can put Jaylen Brown on him for a few possessions. Maybe even Grant Williams for a few possessions. Al Horford for a few possessions. I don't know, man. I don't know the approach you take. I don't know if you just pack it in and you say, yo, somebody else is going to beat us. Or if you try to just say, yo, Giannis, are you going to get 60 every night and we're just going to lock down everybody else? I would definitely try to pack in the lane, though. No straight line drives to the basket. No easy layups. Force him to be a jump shooter as often as you can. But it's stuff that everybody tries that he just gets right anyway. KD can't handle loaded defenses. His legacy is defined by playing with one of the greatest spacing of all time. Let Giannis do what he must and lock in on the others. Yeah, Wave. How do you? I don't know. Like, I'm always like torn. It's like I feel like there's two different philosophies. You either say, yo, this guy, like, yo, Giannis, if you're gonna beat us, but we making sure the other guys don't get right. Or if you are like, yo, we gonna make sure the others don't beat us, and Giannis, or we're gonna make sure Giannis doesn't beat us, and we're gonna let the other guys. If y'all gonna do it, then y'all got it. I don't know. I don't agree with the whole KD can't handle loaded defenses. His legacy is defined by playing with the greatest spacing of all time. I think that's what Kyle is saying. Cap too. I don't know that I agree with that either. Like, yo, let's not start being disrespectful to KD. Let's not start disrespecting KD now. KD is one of the greatest, especially scoring the ball. I think it's more so. He even said he's overthinking it and stuff. I think it's more so the not even like they're not doing anything. Like Donald just said, that the coach is the problem. I think that's part of it. Like they don't really do anything. Like, we've seen the Nets look really good, and when they look really good, they're running different actions, right? Like they're at least pinning down, like they're at least setting pin down screens to get KD in the mid post, right? Right now, they not doing nothing. They're literally dribbling the ball up. KD is walking to the spot he wants to catch it in, and they're throwing it to him and then clearing out. Like, as great. No, I'm not discrediting what the Celtics are doing defensively, but the Nets aren't making it hard for them. Like, they're not having to worry about any off-ball action. It's literally like, yo, let's just lock in. Let's pack it in when KD gets the ball. You know what I mean? They're not doing anything. They're not spacing the floor. They're not reversing the ball. They're not setting any pin down screens, no backdoor cuts. Kyrie's throwing it to him and literally walking away with his back to the ball. It's like, come on, man. Like, I wonder if I could pull up a clip without getting copyright. Let me see. We could pull up some KD shots right now. And it's just like, I don't, what do you want to, like, what are they supposed to do? Let's see. I'm not going to pull up a lot. I just want to pull up, like, an example. I just want, like, maybe one example to kind of show what I'm talking about. Boom, right here. Here we go. This is a great example. Don't show it to us. You may get copyright. Hey, man. Just in case, hit me with a little super chat to help soften the blow. They start Bruce Brown. No shade. He's been balling. Yeah, I'm going to have to catch up on chat for a little bit. But here's an example of what I'm talking about, right? Like KD wants the ball here. We all know KD wants the ball here. But then let him start in the corner, right? Start in the corner. Have Seth Curry set a pin down screen, right? And then that way, if they both jump out on KD, well, Seth Curry could pop and you have a shooter there, right? Or at least you keep the shooter in the corner so that he can't help off of him too much, right? Or how about you start KD in a corner and you send Drummond on a pin down screen. If they jump it, Drummond can slip to the basket, you get a dunk. Instead, this is what we're looking at here. This is what KD literally, Seth Curry runs away from he just runs to the other side, and KD's just standing like, so you get the switch, that easy switch, right? He's just standing there. And look at everybody else. Watching 40 feet from the basket. Watching. Like, yo, they're not even moving. Drummond is the only guy he ducks in a little bit. But, of course, this is going to, you know what I'm saying? What do you want him to do there? And that's an open shot that he's got to make. But it's like, what do you want him to do there? There was no kind of action at all. At all. Let's see if I can find another one. There was much more in the game 3 I did the breakdown on. Like, here's another example. This is more like this is another example here. Hold on, let me put that away for real quick so you guys can see the whole floor. Watch this play real quick. Like, just watch. There's 12 seconds left, but watch how Patty Mills doesn't move. Bruce Brown's not doing anything. Claxton starts to set a screen and runs away, but it's just watching. Like, there's no attempt to run any kind of action here. There's no attempt to run any kind of action there. It's just, let's just watch Kyrie. Let's just watch Kyrie and KD go be special all the time. So, it's not, I don't really know what they can do to be very effective. And that's what I mean when it's like, if they're gonna have any shot at this, they gotta find something they can go to that works. Let me catch up on chat. Sorry guys, I know I'm behind a little bit. KD had multiple scoring titles before he even played with Steph. Facts. What happened in 06, what happened in 16? It's the same story this year. KD can't handle loaded defenses like that. I don't think that's the issue. I mean, in 2016, That's the year you're referring to when he was on the Thunder. They were up 3-1. They were up 3-1 against the Warriors, and they should have won. I don't think all of a sudden the defense changed after game 4. I just think that they ended up getting beat. But he definitely was maximized. I agree with Kyle. He was maximized playing with Steph for sure. He doesn't have the strength to fight for position. Steve Nash is trash. No offensive sets. Truth. Oh, so that must have been when I started going in. Do you think they have the personnel for it? Yes. And that, like, I don't think that the Nets have the best roster. But, yo, you got a shooter. You got a lights-out shooter in Curry. You got a lights-out shooter and playmaker in Kyrie. And then you got a lights-out shooter in KD. Like, there's no reason why they can't run some stuff. There's no reason. I feel like the Nets don't play as a team. Obviously, they're top-heavy, but they got to have more teamwork. I think saying Nash hasn't been doing anything is nonsensical. Boston's literally blowing up every one of their actions with their switching. Nets really need a 3-and-D guy. They play zero defense. You can't screen Boston's defense. They literally switch every action. Celtics like to do that to get some advantage for Brown and Smith. Yeah, Phoenix, I think his point is at least give them a decision to make and get their first-choice defender off KD. This is how they end games. Not to put words in my mouth. Also throwing Blake Griffin out there all of a sudden at the end of Game 3. Nash still experimenting. And this is not the time to experiment, right? Let me talk about Phoenix's point, though, and what Brock said, right? Like, they switch everything. That's fine. You can switch everything if you want. That doesn't mean I can't run my stuff. That doesn't mean I can't run my stuff. In fact, if you're going to switch everything, depending how you switch it, I can slip screens now if you switch. Because if you overhelp, or you don't communicate the switch properly, you're leaving something open, right? Or in these ball screens, instead of coming up to set it, I'm just going to slip right away. I'm not even going to actually set the screen. I'm going to come up, let you communicate the switch, and I'm going to dive to the basket. Like, it's not impossible to run stuff when teams are switching. You just got to get a little more creative. I didn't play college basketball and I didn't play at the NBA level, but even I've seen good high school programs and I've watched college programs, you know, like I coach basketball. So when I watch games, I'm usually looking to see what teams will do. And sometimes you screen the guy that's guarding you, you'll screen him because you know the switch is coming. So you're screening your guy in anticipation of that switch coming. That's a way you can get somebody open. Like, there's things you can do. It doesn't matter if teams are switching. You can still run your stuff. They just don't have any stuff to run, and that's what's alarming. They had Bruce Brown doing that, and he got 25. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, you ain't gonna when Bruce Brown is the guy, you're not gonna win. They literally leave him open. That's facts. You can say the same about Denver. Only 2 guys move most plays. Yeah, and Denver's another one of those cases where it's like, we know Denver is not what they are supposed to look like. You put Porter in there, you put Jamal Murray in there, they look different, right? So I do wonder what the Nets would look like if they were healthy and Steve Nash actually got to coach that team whole. Because when they had the 3 guys, when they had Harden and Irving and Durant, they were 13-3 in the games they played together. I don't think Kyrie and KD want to move. I don't blame Nash. And that's another interesting point. Is it them? Is it do they not respect Nash? Is Nash trying to do all these things and then they're like, yo, we good? Now, the fact that Kevin Durant played in Golden State and ran everything that they were running and had no problem doing that, I find it hard to believe that KD would act that way. But it's within the realm of possibility Kyrie would. And I say that because I don't know that I could pull it up. I know I could pull it up. As a matter of fact, I probably could pull it up. Give me a second. There was a play early in the first quarter. They were, I believe the Nets were up 12-5. Celtics went on a run. It's 13-12. Steve Nash was signaling Kyrie to come over to call timeout, and Kyrie just blew straight down the court to the basket, and he ended up hitting the shot. But you could see Nash was trying to get a timeout, and Kyrie just went. Now, I'm not saying that happens often, but that's one example of Kyrie kind of going rogue, which leaves the door open that maybe he's going rogue more than we know. And to Steve Nash's point, he ain't throwing nobody under the bus. So it's like, whatever. Oh, man, we can't. So the clip, where it shows, where this clip picks up, he's already passed. It was when he was, the camera cut to Steve Nash, waving him over. And Kyrie just went. And you can kind of see his hand was up right there because he was calling him over. So the clip only catches with his hand down. So you can't really see it in that one. So unfortunately, I can't show you. But like that was the possession right there where he's like, yo, and he just goes. And the next possession, Boston scores after this shot, and then he gets the timeout. He calls it right away. I don't even think he lets them dribble to half court. Who made the shot to make it 13-12? It might have been Tatum. If I could find the basket that was made, the camera might cut in time for you to see it. Let's see. Because now I'm kind of... Oh, it doesn't. It was a Tatum 3, though. Man, I almost found it. All right, whatever. You guys will just have to take my word for it. I promise I'm not lying. Cam dead on with that. They are fine with him beating them as long as KD and Kai don't go off. I don't think Kyrie and KD... Oh, I saw that KD did pretty well with some pick and roll actions. Didn't know why they didn't do that more often. Exactly. Kyle, you're awesome, bro. Love fans like you. Base. Hector, do we, the media, spend more time criticizing the Nets and just praising a good team? For once, defense outplays offense. KD is great. Kyrie is great. But right now, Boston's better. Simple as that. That's what I kind of been saying the whole time. Like in my videos and stuff, and when I was making predictions, I just don't think the Nets are very good. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I was sitting before the series started. I just don't think the Nets are that good. Offensively, yeah, but they don't defend enough. And they don't run. They don't run enough actions to Right, the Nets aren't good. I agree, Wave. That's what I like. That's kind of what it is. But this is in a way, I guess you could say, why I blame coaching. Because your job as a coach, players got to make plays. As a coach, your job is to generate looks. I'll get you to look. You got to make the shot. And they don't they don't run stuff to generate looks. And that's where it is on Steve Nash. You got to get more creative. You got to put these guys in position to have success. And if you're not doing that, that's a problem. Boston's philosophy this entire series is pack the paint for KD and Kyrie. Don't allow anything at the rim. Don't let anyone else go to the rim and try to beat them. Exactly. Maybe I'm just a salty Celtics fan, but I feel like it's not out of pocket to never want Kyrie on your favorite basketball team. Nah, yo, listen, when they was talking about Kyrie for Ben Simmons for a little bit, I was like, hell to the no. KD didn't even move in Golden State. That's the big arguments he and Draymond had. That's why I blame him. Kyrie knows his mixtape mad fans draw into him. They prefer ISO and one at Nash, prefer ball dominant. Boston adjusted to their pick and roll action. They're fine with switching and trapping. Nets aren't good. That's why they had to play in the play. Exactly, yo. They were in the play-in game for a reason, man. Hey, Chad, don't forget to hit that like button, man. We got 25 people in here, only 14 likes. Let's run it up. Boston pre-switching communication is probably the best in the league. The whole home stretch of the regular season, they were losing and struggling. Yeah. I mean, didn't they get beat by the Hornets in Brooklyn the first game Kyrie was back? And everybody thought that was going to be their coming out party? Or am I tripping? Can we get some clips of what Herb Jones did last night, specifically his blocks? Yeah, I want to break down. It's hard, man. It's hard for me. I know, like, so many people want to see so many different games, and I want to break down them all, but it's like, yeah, it's hard, man. I work full-time. I'm a full-time teacher. I teach 5th grade. So it's like when I do videos, it's like I come home from work after I done graded and everything like that. I try to get home. I try to record. Obviously, I record the videos myself. I edit them myself, and then I create the thumbnails myself. Like, I'm doing all of it. So it's like by the time I finish all of that, I also want to get a workout in. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got stuff that I want to do. So I try to get everything done. I do the best I can. Somebody just asked me about doing a Memphis Timberwolves breakdown. So the next Timberwolves-Memphis game, I want to do that one. Obviously, like, I chose to go live today instead of doing a breakdown of one of the games from last night. As much as I want to break down the Sixers and Raptors game tonight, I got a feeling more people are going to want to see the Boston and Nets breakdown. So I'm probably going to do that tonight or that tomorrow. And then I will try to do the breakdown of the Grizzlies and T-Wolves when they play. And then I'll try to get to, maybe I'll just do a smaller one, like a Herb Jones only type thing, his defense. But I'm trying, man. I try to put out as much content as I can. I try to get as varied as I can. Like, this channel started as like a Sixers Sixers-centric channel. That's why it was called the Sixers Breakroom. I'm a Sixers fan. I wanted to create content about the Sixers. But I love basketball. And you know, I was encouraged by my brother Marcus. He's like, yo, do other teams, other players and stuff too. So it's like I branched out, and that's when the channel started to grow. So it's like obviously there's a market out there for breakdowns of basketball from teams around the league. So I try to do as many different teams as I can. But you know, that's the best way I could put it. I do the best I can. So I'll try to get a Herb Jones video out there, but I can't promise it. They're letting Boston foul a bit off ball on KD. I just wish playoff and regular were officiated the same. I agree with that, man. Like, I hate when they be like, the officiating changes in the playoffs. Why? It's the same rule book. Doesn't make any sense. Knicks, Hawks, Charlotte. Why did people think they could beat ball? Facts. They were struggling, bro. They were struggling. I'm a Lakers fan. Hate his guts. The way he disrespected that franchise showed his ego. Fifth grade was fun. Yeah. Listen, I be having fun with my students. You still not believing in the Heat? Nope. Listen, I thought the Hawks would be a more competitive series. I was wrong about that one. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I thought that series would be more competitive. I thought the Hawks, having got to the conference final last year, like they would have a little more come playoff time. But it's similar like what Kyle just said. I don't know why I thought that. They were in a play-in game for a reason. And they had to win the 2 games to get in. What were they? They were the 9 or the 10. So the Hawks are not, as much as I thought they would compete with the Heat, they're not a good team. So I'm not really that impressed that the Heat are doing what they're doing to them. Like, you know, I just overrated the Hawks. I just thought that playoff experience would help them more than it has. Now it's the NBA Breakroom. Yeah, do I change the name, y'all? Should I just change it up? I wonder if I would get more subscribers if I changed it. Because then people would be like, oh, this isn't just a Sixers channel who did one video. It's just an NBA channel. And then the Sixers videos will just be on their own playlist. I hope the channel name doesn't hinder the growth. You got great unbiased stuff from what I've watched thus far. Yeah, man, listen, like, maybe I'll change it. But for me, I'm just like, why? I'm a nobody right now. Like, what's that? I don't know that I'm big enough where it's like I need to, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just having fun with it right now. I'm happy that I've gathered or garnered the following that I have. I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep bringing you guys breakdowns. I'm going to keep bringing you guys content that I think you guys are enjoying based off of the positive feedback I get in the comments and things like that. I think it's crazy, man. Like, I got monetized in 34 days. I think they said less than, when they send you an email or whatever, it's like less than 10% of all of YouTube channels are monetized. It's like the fact that I did that in 34 days is crazy, and it's a credit to you guys supporting, man. I appreciate y'all. For real, for real. Trae Young looking fraudulent. Yeah, man. Trae looking bad, bro. Trae looking bad. I can tell you that many Boston fans would just not even click because of how they feel about Sixers fans. Facts, bro. A foul is a foul. It just favors Bruce. D lineman would average 30 in the playoffs. I'm not against physicality. Joker gets fouled a lot. Yeah, man. I don't like this whole, like, I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why officiating changes. I don't get it. I really don't. I think the experience that you said about Atlanta could be said about Miami, but they have 100 times the experience that Atlanta does from a veteran group. That's a good point. They got a lot of vets. They got a lot of experience. This is why I don't believe in the Heat. I don't believe in the Heat because I don't believe that they have a guy when you need one to go get you one. I don't think Jimmy Butler's that guy, and I'm not sure I want to rely on Tyler Hero being that guy. But maybe they'll both prove me, or one of them will prove me wrong. But when I look at the Heat Sixers, if those games are close, who's got the best player? The Sixers. And in the NBA, that's kind of how it works. The NBA media is more Real Housewives commentary than basketball experts. I appreciate this channel so much and guys who can teach the game. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me, man. Clap it up for you. Where's my audio? Where's my clap? How come that didn't work? There we go. Let's clap it up for you, man. I appreciate you, Cam. I will say that I was hesitant because I thought you were a Sixers-centric channel, Celtics fan here. I do love your breakdowns. Yeah, man, and that's how it started. But then I just branched out, started doing some other teams as well because I just love hoops, man. Anytime I get to talk about it, I appreciate it. They want to say playoffs are for men or something. The worst part is how big home court is because they get to foul the most and it muddles up everything. You know what I don't like? I don't like when refs make it about them. I don't like when refs try to like make it seem like people there to see them. Like, bro, nobody's here to see you. No disrespect. That's just not what we're here for. Like Scott Foster. Boy, if Scott Foster is doing your game, you better. And I think Scott Foster is in Brooklyn tonight. You know how Scott Foster be. I saw a tweet that said when the NBA want more games to drive up revenue in a series, put Scott Foster on it. Facts, Celtics fan here too. Only thing I ever liked about Sixers was AI. Oh man, that's AI is my guy. AI is my first favorite player. I had the wristband that said the answer on it and everything, man. That's my first favorite player. I had the shoes. Please no, Scott. I want to watch the game. You gonna watch the Donna? Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely watching that. When that come out, I didn't know they was making one. I gotta hear these stories. How much they was rigging these NBA games. So many Celtics fans here. I'm a Celtics fan too. Yeah, man. I got more Celtics fans that follow the channel, subscribe to the channel than Sixers fans, I think. Them Celtics breakdowns be hitting, boy. I'm gonna keep them coming. Hey, man, you've been doing a great job. Keep up the work. You'll get far doing this. I appreciate you, man. Let's clap it up for him, man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. I didn't see the date, but it's coming. Yeah, I'm going to watch that for sure. Miami versus Sixers series. I think the talent pool, if you were to draft the top 5, it would be Embiid, Jimmy, Harden, Bam, Maxey. Honest question. Are people really taking Jimmy Butler over James Harden? I'm not sure that I would. Push come to shove, maybe. But, like, if you told me I can get Jimmy or Harden, I don't think I'd be mad if I was forced to have Harden. Harden just doesn't look healthy, though. Like, I know he's getting older, but he still just looks like, you know, it don't look like an age thing. It looks like the hamstring. Because he'll be like, bing, bing, bing. Like, he's still mad quick side to side, but as soon as he tries to go, it's like he got a flat tire. So I don't know that I would take Jimmy over Harden because I think Harden still got a lot left in the tank. I think his hamstring is just unhealthy. It's still bothering him. I think they've been changing the referee because of Golden State. That play style is the most sexy, and that's why perimeter fouls get way more popular today opposed to inside, not to mention illegal screens. That's a fair point. That's definitely a fair point. Kyle said draw between Harden and Jimmy, right? Like, it's mad close. Harden is too unreliable scoring output-wise. He doesn't have the burst. I think he just don't. You know what's crazy? Listen, as much as people been talking about how Harden isn't Harden anymore and all that, he's still getting like 24 a night for us, 22 or 24 a night, because he still gets to the line. I just feel like right now, because I feel like he knows he don't have that burst, so he tries even more to draw fouls instead of just going to finish. Like, he always drew fouls, but like he was drawing fouls and looking to finish. This year, or especially as of late, the past couple weeks, he looks like he's just trying to get hit and not really looking to finish. They take Jimmy because of less drama, I guess. Jimmy got the most drama. Listen, Jimmy Butler, he's a guy that you love in the beginning, but everywhere, very similar to Harden, actually. Very similar. And I don't know how Jimmy Butler escapes this criticism. Everywhere Jimmy Butler has been has ended horribly, just like Harden. Everywhere. Everywhere, with the exception of maybe the Bulls. I don't really remember how that went down, but I think that ended bad with the coach. And then in Minnesota, he was calling everybody soft. Right? And then with Philly, he kind of it was one of them things where you were hearing rumblings. But before it got out, he was a free agent and wanted his money. I think there's a reason why the Sixers didn't pay him. You know what I'm saying? And then you just had this stuff with Udonis Haslem and him trying to fight Spoelstra in the huddle just like 2 weeks ago. So I think that he, on the drama scale, he up there too. I just think that somehow he's escaped that kind of criticism because I don't know why. I don't know. It's weird. I love, good evening, coach. Do you think the Celtics are sweeping the Nets later? Love from Portugal. Oh, love from Portugal. Let's clap that up. Hey, yo. That's what's up. Do I think the Celtics are going to sweep? No, but not because of the Celtics or because of the Nets so much as I just think that it's very hard to sweep. It's really hard to beat a team 4 times in a row. I think that, and these games have been very close. I think the Nets are going to pull this one out, and then it's over in 5 in Boston. What's Maxi's potential? I think Maxey has potential to be very good. I don't think Maxi's ever going to be the best player on your team, like a best player on a championship team type thing. I don't think Maxi's ever going to be like a first or second team All-NBA kind of guy. I think Maxey could be a really, really good number 2, though. I think he could be a really, really good number 2. Like in a way that like Mike Conley was. Remember when like Mike Conley was like mad good and he was never like the best. He was never like a top 5 or top 10 guy, but he was somebody who you could rely on. Now their play style is different. Maxey is more explosive and athletic, but like Mike Conley was like, he was a reliable second best guy to have on a team. Maybe that's Maxey, but with a different play style. He got issues with teammates everywhere he go. Yeah, Butler, facts. Jimmy clears defensively, but by far as well. He hasn't hunted and pick and he isn't hunting and pick and roll. He could defend. He could lock up. Harden, that is where he has the advantage over Harden for sure. Isn't Jimmy the dude who went into the T-Wolves practice and blew it up? That's what I'm saying. I'm behind on chat. Yo, we starting to get a lot of people in here talking, man. It's hard for me to read all of them. Only way to ensure that I can see your chat is if you super chat, it's on a whole separate screen right here. Like I can see super chat. So if you have a question or something that you 100% want answered, I'm getting off in about 10 minutes. If you got something you definitely want me to say on stream, question, comment, whatever it is, make sure you put it in the super chat so I see it for sure because chat's starting to pop off. It's hard for me to follow everybody. Brent Brown was a prick according to Jimmy, and I'm not shocked. Everybody is according to Jimmy. Nets will get home cooking tonight. Yeah, it's going to be hard to eliminate them. Raptors stealing game 5. 1 hard foul on Embiid, hard on his hands, and he'll think twice about what to do. Nah, I think that series is over tonight. I do. Glad you brought up Conley. Yeah, Conley, man. Conley was nice. Conley was one of those guys that was just really, really good, but never, like, exceptional. He was just always really good. Utah got to blow it up. Yo, man. Listen, the Mavs, that's my squad out west. My squad out west for years was Phoenix, and I still like Phoenix. That's what a lot of people don't know when they thought I was hating on Phoenix. If you ask, like, some of my, like, Kyle, if you ask, like, Hurst, he'll tell you, like, I've been rocking with the Suns for a minute because I always liked Devin Booker, but I love Luka. Luka's my favorite player in the NBA right now. I want the Mavs to beat them so bad, especially because people was hating on the Mavs, and I think Utah will blow it up. Donovan Mitchell's going to be a Knick next year. I don't blame him for Minnesota, though. Cat and Wiggins was kind of stagnant and defense lagged, especially Cat because he even blocked Curry on a switch, seemed unfocused. I mean, I think it was just the way he was talking crazy in there that was kind of wild. Like, they say he was talking wild at them Minnesota practices. Butler's a cancer. That's what I'm saying. Like, he escapes that criticism, and I'm not sure why. I think it's because he's such a tough player that people, like, respect that about him. Where I feel like it's easy to kind of hate on Harden because there's people... because of the drama, and people don't like his play style. You know what I'm saying? Nets really look broke. They lackluster team chemistry, which is their downfall. I agree with that. How much of the Celtics credit is due to I don't know how to say his first name. Udoka versus Brad Stevens, or is it the players? I think having a new coach was big for them. Getting a new voice, even if it's saying the same thing. Even if you're hearing the same thing, sometimes a new voice is good. You ever been in an argument with your significant other, and then you leave and you go talk about it with your boys, and your boys will say the same things that your significant other was saying, but you be like, yeah, I feel you. And all of a sudden you knew you were bugging? Y'all ever have that happen to you? Like your homeboy is like, nah, yo, she kind of right. Like you gotta shape up, or you gotta do this, and you're like, yeah, I know, man. That's kind of how I feel. Like, they needed that new voice. They needed somebody to come in there and just shake things up a little bit. Brad laid the foundation and was so damn good. He's the president now. Yeah, that's like listen, sometimes you need a guy that'll get it started and then a guy that'll finish it. You know what's another really good example of that? Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson laid the foundation for those Warriors teams. Part of getting those guys in there, developing those guys. They had a franchise record in wins, I believe, his last year there. But he wasn't going to be the guy to take him over the top. You bring in Kerr. Kerr was able to take him over the top. You know, sometimes that's just how it works. Raptors lineup is going to be huge tonight without Fred VanVleet. Very long and big. It'll pose a problem for the Sixers tonight. Yeah, I don't think it'll be an easy game. I don't think that's going to be like a cakewalk. I think that's going to be a tough game. I do think the Sixers will pull it out in the end because without VanVleet, they're bigger defensively, but VanVleet is a bucket. He's one of the guys that can go get one for them. He's not the only guy. I'm not saying he's the only guy. I know Siakam can, but I think they're going to miss VanVleet offensively. And I think if the Sixers get back in transition and limit turnovers, I think they win tonight. Wherever Jimmy goes, the team has more success. Minnesota was a 50-win team in terms of pace in the games he played before getting injured. That made it postseason. No, look, Jimmy Butler makes teams better. I'm not disputing that at all. Jimmy Butler is a great player. Like, that's kind of what I'm talking about. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier in the chat. It's like if you say a guy's better than the other, it's as if you're saying one guy's bad. Like, if I say Harden is better than Jimmy, I feel like some people, not even you, Phoenix, but I feel like it becomes, oh, you think Jimmy Butler's not good. Well, look at all the good he does. I'm not saying Jimmy Butler's not good. I'm just saying that if somebody said if you were drafting, Embiid would be 1, Jimmy would be 2, Harden would be 3, and then I just said, are we sure we're taking Jimmy Butler over James Harden? Because I don't know if push come to shove, I might, but I just don't know for sure that I would. It's not like Brad isn't respected. He's a massive ATOs. I think Philly fans know how Boston killed y'all. Yeah, listen, Stevens was a great coach. I don't think it's a knock on Stevens at all to say that the next guy is just able to take him over the hump. I think Brad Stevens, do you remember that group? Do you remember that group that went to the Eastern Conference Finals? What was that, Tatum's rookie year? When they had, like, Rozier and those guys, like, no Kyrie. Then they took LeBron, or that wasn't, no. That wasn't the year they went to the conference. I think that was the year they played LeBron in round 2 and took him to 7 games. Like, you know, and didn't they have a year when they had, like, Evan Turner? Or was that the same year? That might have been the same year, like, to take those boys where they got them. Like, Brad Stevens is legit. I just think that when you're with the same voice year after year after year, you know, that's tough. I think that's one of the benefits of coaching at, like, the college level, right? Like, Calipari, K before he retired, Wright before he retired, Roy, all these guys like Bill Self. Guys aren't hearing the same voice for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 5 years even, 4 years even anymore. They hear your voice for a year or two, maybe a third or fourth year, but not often. But the longest somebody is hearing that same message is for 4 years. You know, sometimes it gets old kind of thing. But yeah, man, I'm about to start winding this thing down. What we're really ignoring is that Tatum and Brown grew more. It's not a slight on Stevens and Rob now, too. Exactly. Smart, better facilitator. Getting rid of Schroeder allowed Marcus Smart to take over point guard responsibilities. That was huge. And then calling out Tatum and Brown, getting those guys to involve the others more were huge. You know, all these things were big, and it made, I think that's why that coaching change was so big. I'm about to wind this down. I saw Phoenix say something about the All-NBA teams. I want to give my All-NBA teams real quick on stream right now. I think I tweeted them out, or not tweeted them out. I think I put them out on my community post, but I'm going to say them right now for those that missed them. And I'm going to name my award winners for those that missed them, because those were supposed to be videos when I went away for spring break. I went to Jamaica. Those videos were supposed to post, but they didn't. So I'm going to say them right now. Where's my all NBA teams didn't post? Well, here are my all NBA teams. I had it on a piece of paper. I don't even know where it went. But third team all NBA. Man, I wish I remember where it went, because I know I'm going to forget. I know I'm going to forget some of these guys that I had on my All-NBA team. Oh, here it is. All-NBA. Third team All-NBA. Chris Paul, Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns. I'm going to say it again. My third team All-NBA. Chris Paul, Trae Young, DeMar DeRozan, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns. My second team All-NBA. And this is a lot due to injuries. Ja Morant, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Nikola Jokic. And the reason why I'm putting Jokic on second team, I ain't doing this whole you could put two centers now and make one of them a power forward. Like, nah. We all know Jokic and Embiid are centers. I ain't going to do that. And then my first team All-NBA, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid. That's my personal ones. And now I see Phoenix is posting them in the chat. Let's see what the people say. So first team, Luka, Booker, Tatum, Giannis, Jokic. First team. That's crazy. They put Jokic over Embiid. Second team, Ja, Steph, DeMar, KD, Embiid. I almost had the same exact. So first team, I had them all the same except I had Embiid and Jokic flip. Second team, I had them all the same except Jokic and Embiid flipped. And I had DeMar and Bron I had flipped. And then third team, CP3, Trae, Siakam. Yo, I almost had. Hold on. Can we clap it up for me? Yo, I almost literally picked these. If you flip Jokic and Embiid, DeMar and Bron, I had two flips. That's it. Damn. Let's clap it up for myself again. Woo, that's pretty crazy. You almost got the ballot completely correct. Yeah, that's wild, man. That's wild. Hey. I know a little bit about basketball. I don't know everything, but I know what I know. I know a little bit. But all right, guys. And then my award winners. I know I got some of the awards the same too. My award winners, MVP, I would have Joel Embiid. Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes, which was confirmed. My sixth man of the year would be Tyler Hero. My most improved player would have been Jordan Poole. Coach of the year, Taylor Jenkins in Memphis. And my defensive player of the year would be Marcus Smart, which happened as well. Most improved player confirmed is Ja. I originally had Ja Morant. Penciled in. If I had the paper, it's probably still on there. I switched at the last minute because I heard somebody make a great point. I heard somebody talk about most improved player. They're like, Ja Morant, as improved as he is, was the number 2 pick in the draft. So, like, we all knew he was probably going to be great. Jordan Poole was, like, the 20-something pick in the draft. And now he's looking the way he's looking. So, when I heard that, I was like, you know what? That's a hell of a point. And it made me change my mind. But, all right, guys, I'm about to take it down. I'm about to get in the gym and get a workout on. I appreciate all you guys, man. Thank you so much. I'm going to clap it up for you guys, man. I appreciate all the love that you guys been giving me, man. And the comments, the likes, the live stream popped off today. We had like 20, 30 people the whole time. I appreciate all you guys. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that bell. When you guys click that bell, you see right away when I drop videos, whenever I'm going live, when I put posts on the community. Like, by clicking that bell, you guys see the content as soon as it drops. And I know you guys want to see it as soon as it drops because it be hot. You feel me? But yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. And yeah, share this channel with your friends, your family, anybody that like basketball, send it their way. Anytime we do these live streams, it's an open discussion. Obviously I can't break down film necessarily live because I'd probably be copyrighting things like that. It's not until I edit it that I'm able to do that. But anytime I can come on here and talk basketball with you guys and have the kind of conversations we had, like, that was mad dope. Like, this was mad dope to me. Like, we just talked basketball for an hour and 40 minutes, man. That's awesome, and I appreciate you guys. My picks for tonight, I think the Sixers close out the series at home. I think the Nets survive the sweep and force a Game 5 in Boston. And I think the Mavericks protect home court. I think the Mavericks win at home, go up 3-2. I think Luka's going to have a hell of a night. I think KD is about to ball out, facing elimination. And I think that James Harden is going to have a good game tonight. And the X factor for the Sixers, I always say, is Tobias Harris. Whenever Tobias Harris plays well, they win. So those are my picks tonight. Sixers, Nets, and Mavericks Boston fans, don't get mad at me. I still think y'all are gonna win the series. Don't worry. I just think tonight is gonna go their way. I will see you guys on the next one. I always say this when I end my live streams, but this has been the Sixers Break Room. Peace, and as always, much love to you. I'm out.